Hello and welcome to Felix's Space Time. In today's video we have an interview with Nic Ansuini, a photographer for NASA Spaceflight. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Hi Nic, thank you so much for coming on here for an interview. Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Felix. It's great to be here. I'm Nic Ansuini. I am a photographer, I guess, and now doing all the SpaceX coverage down in Starbase. It's been super exciting to get to do all that, and yeah, that's kind of me in the one sentence regime there.
Cool. Can you go into a bit more into depth with what you do with NASA Spaceflight?
Yeah, absolutely. So I basically help out Mary, our Boca Chica gal, as you might see her on Twitter. She's been doing really great coverage down in Starbase for many years now, covering all of the details of what's happening and who's doing what cranes are where for many years. And it's now time that she gets some help. And I'm really thrilled to be able to be there and assist her with all of the photography and videography that needs to happen for catching all of the news pieces and also putting together those daily videos that lots of people seem to enjoy on the NSF YouTube channel. But yeah, so basically I'm there to assist, and we get to tag team it some days, and some days we get to give the other one a day off or whatever. So it's really great to be able to assist down there and be able to get so much coverage. Yeah, so that's kind of what I do down there. As far as the actual aspects of what I do, I take pictures and videos mostly, and I sweat a lot. It's really hot down there.
How long have you been with NASA Spaceflight?
Just about a month now. We're coming up on a month, so I'm super new to the whole NASA spaceflight community. Haven't been plugged into there very long, but I've really enjoyed the time that I have had. It's been super great to get to know the awesome team that NASA Spaceflight has been able to build. Everyone that I've interacted with on the team has been super professional and super enthused about space, and it's just so much fun to work with people who are as passionate about spaceflight as I am.
Right. Okay. What kind of equipment do you use for taking pictures and videos, that kind of thing?
You're asking questions right up my alley. Well, I have a plethora of cameras and a plethora of lenses, but the most frequently used when you're at Starbase, you have to be across the road from what's actually going on. So it's helpful to have a big, powerful zoom lens so you can actually see what's going on down there, kind of far away. So I use a Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter lens, and then a A7R Mark II, a Sony mirrorless camera that I have it right here. So this is my main rig, and then I have a couple other Sony APS-C cameras that are a little bit smaller and lighter weight, and I use those around as well to do live streams or to do even more zooming because it's a smaller sensor. So anyway, I'm quite the camera nerd by default, so it's kind of exciting to get to use this gear every day and use it for something that's not just artsy photography, but also for like news stuff, and get to tell everyone all the exciting things that I get to see.
Wow. Okay. Um, do you enjoy being a photojournalist for NASA Spaceflight? So far.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of doing this before I joined NASA Spaceflight. I was down in Starbase for a little bit over a month, just doing photojournalism by myself before I joined NASA Spaceflight. And yeah, I wouldn't be doing anything if I didn't enjoy it. And so just being able to work with a team doing stuff that I was already enjoying is kind of a dream come true for me. I would have been doing all this stuff anyways, whether or not I was with NASA Spaceflight or not. But joining NASA Spaceflight was probably the best decision I've made in a while, because now I'm not a lone wolf. I get to have assistance from different team members and just be a part of a really awesome team.
Right. Okay. Do you have any dreams of doing something else other than working with NASA Spaceflight?
I don't think so at the moment. Honestly, this kind of is the dream for me, Felix. I've long wondered what I was going to do with my life. I was trained as an accountant. I went to school for many years to be an accountant, and I was on that career path for a while. And I decided that wasn't really for me, and that I wanted to do something more creative with my life. And I just kind of stumbled upon this Starbase stuff, and I've always enjoyed photography, but being able to do it kind of as a profession or as a living has been really exciting. And honestly, I can't imagine doing anything else. It's really hard to take any time off because I love doing this so much.
Right. Okay. How did you find out about NASA Spaceflight, and how did you join them?
Yeah, well, so that's a really good question. I knew about NASA spaceflight obviously because they are where most of the news comes out for as far as like the real minor nitty gritty updates for Starbase News. I watched almost all of the daily videos that Mary's ever put out. I've done I've been following all of the little updates and all of their YouTube stuff and stuff on Twitter and obviously the forums as well. So I definitely knew who NASA Spaceflight was, and they just reached out to me and were like, "Hey, would you like to come join our awesome team?" And I was like, "Well, yes." Yeah, so they just reached out to me because I was kind of already doing what I'm doing right now, just photojournalism.
Right. Okay. How did you get interested in space and spaceflight?
Ooh, that's a good question. My dad has been an aerospace engineer ever since I was a really little kid. He worked for Lockheed Martin for many years, and so I've kind of always grown up in the aspirational space aspect. But when I was growing up, the space shuttle really wasn't happening, and so it was kind of a dry period for many years. And space was kind of just this thing that we asked the Russians to do for us to get us to the International Space Station. There wasn't much excitement behind it, at least for me. And so once Falcon Heavy did its first test flight with the Roadster, and got to see the fairing halves deploy and that cherry red Roadster sit up there, and then the two boosters land and sink almost perfect sync. It was just super exciting to see. Okay, space is back. This is now exciting again, and it's kind of been an obsession ever since. I always like to say it's Starbase specifically, but SpaceX in general is like a deep rabbit hole that you can just trip down and never find the end to, because you can fall down this hole very, very long time. I still haven't found the bottom of the rabbit hole, and I've been doing this for quite a while, following SpaceX.
How did you get interested in photography and taking photos?
Yeah, that's awesome. You're full of good questions here, Felix. My grandpa was a photographer, kind of a hobbyist photographer for his entire life, and kind of growing up around that, just being able to enjoy the artistic moments that life presents itself. And as I was getting older, I decided to get my own real camera, and I got a Nikon camera, DSLR, and was messing around with that for many years. And I even taught a couple photography classes, and I've done a bit of photography here and there, but I never really had like a focus to my photography. It was kind of more just whatever I was seeing, I try to capture in an artistic manner. But once I got down here to Starbase, there was definitely a focus for the photography, and I'm super, super thankful that I found it.
Oh, okay. Do you have a favorite picture? Do you have a favorite picture that you've taken?
Ooh, that's a really good question. There are multiple of my favorite pictures. I think SpaceX related. There are a couple where I've been able to perfectly line up the moon or the sun with the top of a starship or a booster, and I'll send you a few of those if you want to throw them in or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of really artsy opportunities down here in Starbase, where you can, if you take your time and you know what you're doing, you can get some pretty fun shots that, just have the starship. Oh, I'm holding the starship. We'll use this. And then just like the moon, little crescent moon, like right perfectly at the tip of it. And it's just like, so perfect. So yeah, I've taken more pictures that I'm really proud of down here than I've ever taken up to coming down here, just because there's just so much.
Right. Wow. We'll add a few of those in over here. What do you do in your spare time?
Spare time, Felix, I don't have any spare time. I don't give myself any spare time. No, I've worked plenty of other jobs before where it kind of, you go to work and you feel sad that you're going to work and, not able to do whatever you want. And then when you leave, you're excited to leave work. But here at Starbase and what I'm doing currently, I'm sad to leave and I'm really excited to go. And I've never had a work experience like that. So honestly, I work pretty long hours, pretty much there all day from sunrise to well past sundown. most days of the week. So I don't really have a social life or anything, because why would I? Like, this is what I used to do for fun. Like, for fun after work, I would follow Starbase news. Like, that's what I used to do for fun. And now my fun is work. So I don't really do much outside of work.
Do you have any plans for the future?
Yeah, I really am wanting to cover Starbase as much as possible. I know Starbase is going to grow by leaps and bounds as far as what Elon is hoping to do down here. I think that just being down here, being able to capture all of that is really going to be important, not just for the space community in general, but for me personally, to know that I've been there for all of these milestones. Something that I really regret not doing is coming down to Starbase earlier. I thought about going down even back in the Starhopper days, but I never did make it down here until this summer. And I just really regret not coming down here sooner. So my plans for the future are to not leave if I can avoid it.
What was that thing that sparked in your mind that told you that you should go down to Starbase?
Well, that's funny you should mention that. I got to give a huge shout out to Cooper Heim. I think you had him on a couple months ago. He and I are buddies. We lived up in Missouri, and he'd been like, Nick, you just got to go down to Starbase. Just go. And I'm like, no, it's like 1,000 miles. I'm not going to drive that far just to wait for a potential launch. And I had no idea how much other exciting stuff there was. Until I got down here. So got to give a huge shout out to Cooper, or otherwise I probably would still be up at home watching stuff happen from a screen.
Well, that's all the questions I've got for you today. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah,
you had
absolutely.
Had some brilliant answers to my questions.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Felix, and best of success to you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.